Okay, this is it. I'm super happy to say na officially we're getting the new crossovers to the next level. We were hoping to start with our first triangular triad fitting. So next week, hopefully, we'd see Leloy Claudio, Dr. Leloy Claudio joining us from San Francisco. Next week, perfect now, so we can do RRL and RLM. But tonight is RRM, diba? So Ricardo, Ronaldo, and Marco. Mark Gamboa, yan. Salamat.
Richard, baka malito yung mga trolls natin. No? Bago-bago yung
Muntik lang Marcos yung masabi mo ha.
yung mga letters mo.
Muntik
baka
na
umili ng
Marcos.
English yung mga trolls. Sabihin nila, boss, malito kami. Paano ba namin babalatan ito? Pabago-bago.
Ganun talaga. Kala nila mga politiko lang ang butterfly. Ba't di tayo mga analyst? Ano tayo dyan? Multicolor. Di ba? Oh, ito. Mga ka-Messi dyan. Mga ka-Florida. Ito.
Sa akin lang ha, paano nila kayo babanatan kung busy sila na binabanatan yung isa't isa? O yun ang tanong doon.
Can we start there?
Pa rin eh. May bumabanat ka Tulpo. May bumabanat ka Risa. May bumabanat dun sa Richard. Kasi yung Richard, lumilipat sa akin eh. No? Ngayong umaga, nagulang ako, puro banat eh.
Ako pang sinisisi. Baka kay Christian Esguerra yan kasi nag-gano'n hindi sa akin yan.
Hindi, yun. Talagang dati pang binabanatan yun. Talagang kwan yun eh.
Sir Ronald, balita ko, galit si Rafi sa'yo Hindi lang si Robin Hood. Yung mga patama mo dyan. Nakita mo yan, Mark, yung interview ni Rafi Alunan with
Ibigan ko yun. Akala ko Rafi Tulpo.
Hindi pa.
Hindi si Rafi Tulpo, Rafi Alunan. Di ba Rafi?
Medyo galit sa akin yun.
Kasi hindi daw siya DDS. Huwag natin sabihin yan. Okay. Eto na, let's get the ball rolling. So, actually, I'm thankful to hindi Marcos, Mark Gamboa, Marco Gamboa, for essentially saying this. Are we confident to say na eto na, this is officially over na itong unit team na to? Or baka because Sarah kind of raised the white flag, di ba ang bait niya sa mga interventions na ngayon, i-withdraw na daw niya yung confidential fund request. Baka naman, the one side of the ruling faction will say, okay, we won this round, okay na, now we can patch it up and work on new terms of reference, di ba? What's going on here, Sir Ronald? And then Mark, we'll go back to you since you really got the ball rolling, yeah.
Well, ito sa graceful exit eh. Dahil alam naman ni Sarah na matatalo siya sa Senate budget hearing at saka sa BICAM. So para hindi na siya mapahiya, nag-cut na siya ng kanyang losses. Actually, binanggit ko yan a month ago. No, kung gusto ni Sarah baguhin yung kanyang narrative, bitawan na niya yung confidential at saka intelligence fund issue at siya na mismo mag-volunteer na ibigay yan sa Coast Guard, which is very popular. No? Pero hindi niya ginawa. So ginawa niya ngayon, medyo too late. Medyo too late to change the narrative. Dahil nagmarka na yung narrative na ayaw niyang bitawan yung confidential sa intelligence fund. At ngayon, binitawan lang niya dahil matatalo na siya. No? So I doubt kung meron siyang positive impact sa kanyang narrative. Lalo na yung kanyang mga defender, medyo kiniskis na maigi yung confidential fund. Sabi ni Panelo, imbis na gamitin yan in 11 days, kailangan sana inubos niya in 1 day. Sabi naman ni Harry Roque, mga ipokrita yung Congress eh. Sila yung maraming intelligence at saka extraordinary funds. No? So, pinasa niya sa iba. At si Digong naman, ito yung pinakamatindi. Inamin niya na dapat ang intelligence fund gamitin para sa extrajudicial killings. No? At sabi nga niya, dapat itong intelligence fund ni Sara ginamit para patayin si Congresswoman Castro. Pero mo sinabi niya in public, di ba? Tapos sinabi rin niya na itong intelligence at saka confidential funds ay ginamit para sa ROTC field trips at saka seminars. So, kung ganyan ang mga defenders mo, no? Mag-cut clean ka na. Bitawan mo na. Huwag mo na ipaglaban. Kundi malulubog ka lang sa Kumunoy eh. Pero I doubt kung siya ay nasagip sa Kumunoy. Tingin ko lumubog na. No? Kaya kung ginawa niya yan a month earlier, baka sakaling nabago yung narrative.
May tanong po ako. Ito bang pagpigil dito sa confidential funds ni Sarah mula sa Congress. Tingin nyo may halo ba tong gumante dahil dun sa mga tambalos-los na comments or dahil unpopular siya sa public or tingin nyo bakit nagkaroon ng kasi mayroong mga willing makipaglaban for Sara sa Congress saka sa Senate pero na overpower sila nitong sila Speaker Martin. Tingin nyo anong motivation para pigilan yung confidential fund?
Tingin ko, Mark, all of the above. No? Ang tingin na kay Sara, this early, napaaga yung bakbakan because of tambaluslos eh. Diba? Napaaga. Dapat yan after the midterms eh. Eh nangyari 5 years earlier, no? Yun yung nakakagulat dito. Ikalawa ay naging unpopular na, masyadong negative na yung confidential fund, diba? Na-demonize na ng husto at naging very popular yung paglilipatan. Yung frontliners sa West Philippine Sea like the Coast Guards, no? Yun yung kwan. At ikatlo, yung mga supporters niya naubos sa House. Sa Senate, sinubukang pumalag, pero eventually na overpower ng majority, di ba? Kaya sinasabi ko, yung tatlo mong sinabi, all of the above. Yun yung dahilan sa nangyari. O nga pala, pasensya, medyo namamaga yung ngipin, kaya iba yung boses ko.
Ako na lang magdaldal. Sorry, actually, Rona, I wanted to listen to two of you, but alam ko medyo No, I mean, I'll come into this. So, ako naman, my counter-argument to that, not naman counter-argument, but just, to play devil's advocate. I mean, still Sara Duterte is considered as a front-runner for 2028. Her approval rating is higher than any people out there. The Dutertes still have Vismin influence big time. I think Mark Gamboa has correctly emphasized that all the time. And then they have a superpower backer. I mean, no need to point out sino yan. Alam natin. So, when you put it that way, wala bang bargaining chip leverage pa rin si Sara to kind of come in and say, okay, I got it, okay, gets namin, okay, fine, all right, okay, Martin, okay, BBM, but and try to patch it up and accept a secondary position talaga with internally na, okay, tanggap na namin mga Dutertes, hindi na kami yung mga primos inter pares, but kind of find the cold peace, if I can put that term, I'm using a geopolitical term, cold peace within the unit team, so that the unit team is still there.
That's a possible and feasible capital R, no? Capital R. Ako kasi small r lang, that's feasible, no? Pero yung mga nangyari na nakaraan ay medyo pinipigilan yan. Yung paano mo babawiin yung tambaluslos, no? Ikalawa, paano mo babawiin yung pagkawala ng hundreds of millions ng iyong intelligence at saka confidential fund? Ikatlo, paano mo babawiin yung pagkatanggal kay GMA not only as senior deputy speaker, kundi as deputy speaker per se. At yung ipinalit sa kanya, yung kanyang inaanak na lang niya, parang very junior niyang kaibigan before, no? At panghuli, itong kay Browner. No less than the chief of staff is talking about a plot to destabilize, to bring down the government through a coup d'etat. Even binakpedal nila yan, the die was cast Lalo na, inamin naman ni Digong na wala akong involvement sa destabilization, nagtatawag lang ako ng tax boycott, which is seditious at gusto ko lamang pag-usapan publicly yung coup d'etat. Gusto ko lang, ang ginagawa ko lang naman, kinakausap ko yung mga ex-military officers. So inamin naman niya in so many words na meron siyang ginagawa in relation sa destab at saka sa coup, possibly, no? Pero may hinihintay ako in the near future. Una, ibe-bail ba si Laila? Bibigyan ba ng bail in the next few weeks? Or the earliest Monday? Kung nangyari yan, then alam mo na wala na silang pakialam sa iisipin ng mga Duterte. Ikalawa, ma-appoint ba si Trillanes sa government? At panghuli, ito yung game changer. Papapasukin ba ang ICC next year? So itong tatlo hinihintay ko.
So Ronald, I know I want to ask also a question with Mark on this, no? So yun nga like for me kasi I see Sara raising the white flag. I see Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo saying, no, I'm still loyal to Martin Romualdez. I mean, parang I'm seeing efforts by them to, I cannot use the word patch up, pero damage control. I mean, hold this by a thin thread. But you're absolutely right na pag pumasok na yung ICC issue and the Layla freedom issue, baka yun na yun. That will sever the last thin thread holding them together. Pero habang nagpapahinga ka pa dito sa ngipin mo, Ronald, ay natin si Mark. Mark, anong read mo? At saka Mark, kamusta yung bloggers war? Because we know na nami-mirror ng blogosphere ang etong actual political games, and sometimes etong intramurals na yan ay mutually constitutive in a sense na minsan yung mga bloggers pa yung nagpapaaway sa mga politiko. Anong basa mo dyan, Mark?
Yun, so nung huling pag-check ko sa mga vloggers ngayon, yung mga DDS, yung mga supporters yung mga supporters ni Aimee, supporters ng DDS, supporters ni Sara, yung mga DDS na yung iba nag-support, yung iba hindi nag-support kay Marcos ng election, pareho sila ng direction ngayon, pareho sila ng tema ngayon. Ang hirit ngayon lahat na kay Speaker Romualdez. Kumaga wala nang the gloves are off na. Meron yung picture yung sa Yolanda, di ba? They are even parang they're trying to make the comparison na si Romualdez is parang si Mar Rojas, na yung sa Yolanda parang parang nagpapaano lang. So may mga ganung mga comparisons na, may mga ganung mga hirit na. So lahat sila kumbaga bastusan na talaga at lahat sila talagang
lines
hirit na ay kay Romualdez.
So lines have been crossed, Mark, dun sa blogosphere. Oh wow.
Mukhang hindi na mukhang hindi na, there's no stepping back from that na. Mukhang very clear na yung lines. It's Sara, GMA, Aimee, PRRD on one side at yung sa kabila si Martin Romualdez. Kulang na lang na irita nila si PBBM, parang itong si Maharlika, pero kumbaga papalapit na ng papalapit kasi na kay Romualdez na sila eh. Kumbaga grabe na yung tira nila kay wala nang preno eh, talagang inaatake na eh. Mukhang doon papunta, and parang warning din siguro na pag ginawa yung mga ICC na yan, yung mga na yan, diba, we will be coming na next for PBBM. Parang ganun yung nagiging mga warning shots na ngayon.
Tama
yun namang mga
tama si Mark, Richard, no? Halimbawa, dalawang key vlogger, si Banat Bay, several times this past few weeks nagtatawag na siya ng people power. People power na yung tinatawag niya. Tapos si Maharlika, a couple of times, nagsabi na siya.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Maharlika nagsabi a couple of times, bilang na ang oras ni BBM. No, dahil merong imminent coup d'etat. Sinabi niya yan twice, no? Ikaw kasi hindi mo pinapakinggan si Maharlika.
Alam mo ba't ako nagwawaw, Ronald? Hindi ako nagwawaw dun sa coup d'etat. Nagwawaw ako na nakikinig ka kay Maharlika.
I started covering Maharlika doon sa issue na to last year, mga October last year. Average na nanonood sa kanya per video is around mga 20,000, 25,000. So, maingay siya nun kasi nakakagulat, pero hindi ganun kadami pumapansin. If you check her YouTube, yes, nasa around 80 to 100,000 na per video yung Ibig sabihin, it's gaining steam, it's gaining ground. And karamihan ng nanonood doon is syempre naniniwala doon sa mga sinasabi niya. Lahat ng mga hinihilitan, yung mga cabinet appointees na yung mga baho daw ng mga cabinet appointees, yung mga ginagawa behind the scenes sa Malacanang, of course, yung mga tira pa rin kay First Lady, kay Speaker Romualdez. So, and she's trying to say na PBBM is weak in handling all of this. Wala siyang magawa doon sa mga nangyayaring mga
tawag nga sa kanya, kuting. Diba? Kuting. Yung isa naman, tawag ahas.
So, eto boss Ronald, thanks Mark for that. Babalikan kita Mark on that kasi I like this how you complement each other kasi mahalaga yung vloggers sa politika natin. That's what we learned over the past 5-6 years. Kaya nga nagbo-vlog na rin tayo, 'di ba? Because this is really one vector of power and influence. Aminin natin 'yan. It's not like before na columnists and TV people, which I still am, right? Hindi na, wala na yung monopoly na. Now, let's go back to this Boss Ronaldo. No, I mean, where is BBM in all of this? And to what degree this is also about Martin Romualdez wanting to really run for the presidency at all cost? Kasi I mean, hindi naman mutually exclusive yan. I know many things are happening, but if really Martin wants to run for the president, there's no way na Sara can still be in the competitive field down the road. So ngayon pa all in na. At the same time, what's up with BBM? I mean, like, is BBM a kind of a passive parang alam mo yun, parang is this a tail wagging the dog situation, or is this like BBM kunyari above the fray but actually there's a marching command na? What's going on here? Anong speculation natin?
Alam naman natin Big R, no? Na si BBM is conflict averse. At alam naman natin na ang gusto niya mga trips, no? Pero I'm going to bet at the minimum, alam niya yung lahat na nangyayari at meron siyang blessing. Halimbawa, nung tinanggal as senior deputy speaker, yung kanyang tinatawag na secret weapon, hindi yan kayang gawin ng kanyang pinsan, kahit speaker siya, nang walang paalam sa presidente. Nung tinanggal yung hundreds of millions at confidential at intelligence fund, hindi yan pwedeng gawin sa vice president na at the minimum hindi alam ng presidente at wala siyang blessing. Itong pagbabago ng DOJ sa kanyang posisyon na dati totally sarado sa pagpasok ng ICC at ngayon ay pinag-aaralan, no? At ang tingin ko hindi lang pinag-aaralan, mukhang may decision na, no? I'm willing to bet on that. No? Pag lumabas yung international, ito at the very minimum may blessing na. So kahit hindi niya ipinapakita na siya ay protagonist dito sa mga bakbakan na ito, I'm almost sure alam niya at saka may blessing niya, no? Itong mga pangyayari. Although maintain niya yung statesman-like attitude na above the fray, no? Ang aking mga marites sa loob, no, ay at the minimum, no, at the minimum alam niya at meron siyang blessing. Lalo na itong napaka-fundamental issue ng International Criminal Court. Lalo na, sabi ng Vera Files, hindi lang si Digong ang kasama sa kaso sa ICC, pati yung anak. So very game changer, very fundamental, at ito ay isang issue na at the very least ay alam at may blessing ng presidente.
Mark, once again, like
ito yung tanong ko I want to ask this question din what is the end game? Ano ang pinaka-goal dito nila? Una ni Speaker Romualdez at pangalawa si PBBM. Kasi minsan tingin ko kay PBBM, gusto na lang niyang tapusin. Gusto na lang niyang matapos na hindi siya natatanggal. Gusto na lang niyang, 'di ba, yung anak niya nakaset na in place. Pero what is the end goal here for the Romualdez and for PBBM?
Tingin ko na-realize ng mga people around BBM at saka yung majority ng kanyang pamilya na nasa atin na yung poder. Bakit ibibigay pa sa iba? Baka hindi na isole. Ano ganun yung arrangement last election? May successor. Mukhang yun ngayon ay binabago. Ikalawa ay ang tingin ko yung destabilization na binanggit ni Speaker Martin at ng kanyang mga kaalyado nitong tinanggal si GMA as Senior Deputy Speaker. Merong kanyon, merong basihan. Ang alam ko nga, merong kasulatan yung plot na yan So, hindi lang yan against the Speaker. It's how to use the speakership, no, to pressure or hawakan yung presidente. So, ibig sabihin, alam ng mga Marcoses na merong plot na nangyayari. Kaya nga ganyan yung kanilang reaction. Kaya ganun din yung counter-reaction, tambaluslos, for lack of a better term. No? Ibig sabihin, at that time, the lines were already drawn. No? The lines were already drawn. Tapos, at ikatlo, itong nakikita nating nag-unfold, no, ay yung window dyan for the Marcoses ay between now and the midterm. Dahil if they cannot destroy or if they cannot contain Sara Duterte sa 1.5 to 2 years ngayon, no? After the midterms, delikado sila. Dahil ngayon hanggang midterms, very powerful ang incumbent. So habang powerful sila, gawin na nila lahat, no, para matanggal yung kanilang rival, which is Sara. Kung hindi nila magagawa yan, yung mga umalis kay Sara ngayon after ng midterms, baka magbalikan. Dahil 2028 na yan eh. No? Yan yung cynical politics eh. Ang problema, yan yung reality. No? Yan yung reality. Kaya the window for them to contain or even destroy Sara is 1.5 years. No? Going into the midterm. After the midterm, then all the bets are off. No? Yan yung mangyayari.
So parang ngayon they are playing both defense kasi para hindi matanggal si PBBM sa pwesto kung merong mga distab, and at the same time kung makakalusot opensa na rin para ma-maintain natin after 2028 yung kapangyarihan.
Yes. Pa rin. Yes. Look Mark, lalo na Big R, no? Big R, no? Kung papapasukin yung ICC, no? Kung tinanggal na si GMA as Deputy Speaker, kiniskis pa sa mukha niya, inaanak na yung pinalit sa kanya. Kung tinanggal na yung ginagamit sa possibly sa machinery, no? Yung hundreds of millions, yan yung pang-makinarya, di ba? Going into midterm saka 2028. Kung malinaw na ang backer nila is a superpower na sa kanila lang ang taya, di ba? Kung yan yung ano na yung option ng mga Duterte? Impeachment is out of the question. A people power is improbable. Is improbable dahil kailangan mo ng tao within the chain of command. So you're becoming desperate. Yun yung basihan nitong sinabi ni Browner. Destabilization and coup. But because the options, mag-migrate sa China, di ba? Tatanggapin sila wholeheartedly. Pero madadala ba nila yung kanilang resources? Madadala ba nila yung kanilang political capital? I doubt it. Na yan, even if that is an option, I doubt it kung yan ay kukunin nila. So, yan yung nagiging batayan nitong mga destabilization, rebellion, coup d'etat, rumors, na tingin ko ay hindi insignificant. No? Ang tingin ko kahit paano may basihan.
Ito naman din yung tingin ko. Kasi with all that yung happening ni ICC and all that, ako, ang tingin ko pa rin in a fair elections in 2028, walang kayang itapat yung admin dito kay Sara. Pero syempre malayo pa yun, marami pang pwedeng mangyari. Pero ang tanong ko, how about yung charter change? Is that still an option now? Meron bang ganoon para hindi na presidential elections, prime minister na come 2028? Meron bang ganon na in play ngayon? Possibly. Kasi
that's another way. Minister. Even Martin as a prime minister potentially.
You can beat Sara. Kasi in an election, presidential elections, ang hirap talunin. Yeah. Lalo na kung feel ng tao yung simpatya, kinakawawa itong sila Duterte, ginaganyan. So
dapat kung gusto nila ng charter change, dapat nagawa yan during the first year. Ngayon papunta na ng midterm, no? Tapos may bago kang Senado sa midterm na hindi naman papayag na ma-dissolve ang Senate for charter change. Kaya lumalabo. The possibility is still there, pero sobrang paliit na ng paliit. Yung sinabi mo naman na kung mag-survive si Sara, kung hindi siya makuha ng ICC, kung hindi siya gumuho at mag-survive siya after the midterm, pwedeng may itapat sa kanya. Dahil meron kang Raffy Tulfo na within
we'll discuss in the next episode, right? So the opposition will have a different episode.
Na hindi ganun kalayo, no? Tapos meron kang Magalong na nagsisimulang i-project yung sarili niya, etc. So
so we can discuss.
Hindi etched in stone yung kay Sara. Hindi etched in stone, no? Dahil sabi mo Mark, mahaba pa di ba? In 1 year nga may nangyayari, di ba? Di ba? Halimbawa yung kay Pinoy, nung namatay si Cory, halos nabago totally yung so sa Pilipinas, because we have very weak political institutions, very weak political culture, anything can happen.
Right. Just the last one, I want to ask also Mark on this, and then we can wrap this up because we'll have a separate episode where I want to talk about Imee. We didn't discuss even Imee at all. Is she that irrelevant or she's still relevant? Let's talk about Tulfo, which you mentioned, because I think he's the other big factor, and inevitably that brings us to Rizza Ontiveros and the opposition. Because the weird situation right now is, anong gagawin mo ka opposition ka aside from popcorn? Right? Like aside from popcorn, is there something else you can do to make most out of this, diba? So we'll leave that for the next episode. But just I mean, for me, ang counterpoint ko dyan, Ronald, is if walang manalo masyado mga pro-Duterte dito sa 2025. I mean, malabo. Kasi if you look at the surveys, mukhang malakas yung chance na hindi lang si Bongo, hindi lang si Bato, pati I think pati yung isa pang Duterte pwedeng tumakbong Senado. But let's just say, theoretically, 2025 ma-dominate talaga ng administrasyon nito, no? Together siguro with the opposition, which we can discuss later on. Maybe that could be the basis. Parang midterms pa lang mag-usapan nila, ang mangyari after ito, tutulungan namin kayo maging senador. But after ito, let's just come up with a setup whereby we can make a new charter, right? That reflects what opposition wants. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's something we can discuss in the next episode, because if admin does very well at durug yung kabila sa 2025, he might even be stronger than he came in 2022, because in 2022, he had to still share power. But in 2025, pag durug na yung kalaban, he doesn't have to share power, and he might even have the blessing of opposition if there is a de facto alliance. I call it undeclared alliance with the liberal opposition. Now, Mark, I want to ask you just last point on this before we wrap up this episode. Are you I mean, you and I have been covering yung mga sa loob na away among bloggers, so there's totally nothing surprising. But having said that, hindi mo medyo shocking din speed? Like, it's happening na finally, bro. I mean, like, are you worried? Isn't this too fast, too crazy? Or baka naman we're just getting ahead of ourselves? Anong basa mo, Mark?
Hindi, kasi yun ang it's a shaky bond to begin with nung simula pa lang So, lalo na nung nakatikim na ng power yung isang kampo, naramdaman na yung So, doon pa lang medyo
ulit. Nakatikim ulit. Balik
Nakatikim ulit after 30 years, after. So, medyo alam ko na dito papunta Medyo nakita ko na din It was a matter of, kung hindi nga si PBBM wasn't that way, kung hindi siya ganun na parang umiiwas sa mga awayan, baka nga this could have happened earlier. Kumbaga, nadadala pa si PBBM sa mga charms niya, saka sa mga panliligaw niya on both sides So, sa akin, it's going to be messy. Talagang yun ang...
Messy but not surprising. Messy but not surprising.
I was expecting na posibleng mangyari talaga to. Lalo na ang daming mga policy differences, ang daming mga yung sa style iba, and yung mga walang nakaupo masyado doon sa side ng PRRD, GMA at IME. So, right. Doon pa lang alam mo nang medyo na-itsapuera sila at doon na papunta
So just to close on this, I mean, it was perhaps an alliance of inconvenience, hindi lang convenience, inconvenience from the very beginning, and we already saw shots fired. But just to end on this episode, sabi ko nga, this is the greatest paradox. We have perhaps the most conflict-avoidant president there, and yet massive conflicts are breaking out right and left. And as we discussed, that's actually sometimes what happens. If people feel the king or the emperor is too nice and quiet, they're going to take the initiative themselves. And what's happening right now is the supposedly nice king is just there in the palace while everyone else is fighting their wars, civil wars. So speaking of that, I think this sets a perfect tone for our next episode, because we're going to talk about what are the alternatives here. Is there room for pink opposition, for liberal opposition? I think Ronald already mentioned even Trillanes coming on board. Let's talk about Tulfo, of course, the third force in many ways. And another Marcos we didn't mention so much, but we maybe should mention more. Amy Marcos, what's her game plan here? What's her end game here? On that note, thank you very much, mga kameta. Thank you very much, mga ka-RRM. Ito mga Real Madrid. Mga ka-RRM, may this be the beginning, God willing, of more of this kind of setups. I really enjoy this. Mukhang masaya pa rin tatlo tayo, no? It makes it even more dynamic. So on that note, thank you very much, and please wait for our next episode when we discuss even more drama and Marites.